Hi, I'm Streaky. This is Metropolis Mastering. Today I'm going to show you how I use a multi-band compressor. Now this will work the same way if you're using plugins. The principles are the same, but I use hardware analog, being the Maselec variety. So I'll take you on to shaky hand cam and show you how I use it.
Okay, so this is the Maselec multiband. Now it's obviously it's pretty similar to any plugins or any other hardware multibands that you might be using. Obviously not the same in sound, but in the same in function. Some things have other things that aren't on here, I guess, in plugins, because they kind of throw a load of nonsense on those. But this is your kind of basic setup for a multiband. Now here you've got kind of a major threshold for the whole unit. You've got some input gains. This sort of thing here is what you'd probably have, which is crossover frequencies. Now each band, obviously this being the middle where the crossover is, you need to you'd set this to wherever you want this lower band under there. Obviously, as you can see from here, that's for that. The middle band is obviously between whichever frequencies you do. Now I usually have this set up at about 100 Hertz there for the lower band, and then the mid band's kind of doing the lower mids, and then the top band's doing the higher mids. Now the reason I do that is because I like to use the top end as more of a de-esser and a very quick de-esser, maybe for hats and cymbals, anything that's a bit splashy. I tend to usually have the mid one turned off and the top one turned off a lot of the time, because sometimes it closes things down. So, but you know, just for the sake of this, I'll just show you what it does when it's on. And then the low end I use quite a lot. This compressor itself is actually fantastic for tightening up the low end and getting a really punchy sub. So you, in the same way with a normal compressor, it's got attacks, release, gain makeup and different ratios. Now this is at a 1.4 ratio, and then these are the thresholds, so each band has its own threshold. Now for the bass, say for instance, I might with the attack, you'd kind of leave it open so that the front end of, say, a kick or a sub will sort of pass through, and then it will return it quite quickly. There's lights here on the right so you can see what you're doing. Now it might look like I'm doing a lot, but if you see, that's only 1 dB of gain reduction, 2 dB, so you have a total of 8 down the bottom. So I'm kind of, if you're flicking around here, you're kind of hardly touching it, but you know that you are kind of doing something, and you can tighten it up. Now also on this unit, there's like a side chain so that you can hear what you're doing. So I can listen to just the low band, or just the mid band, or just the high. That's pretty cool. So you can kind of hear what you're doing whilst you're doing it. So basically, yeah, with all of these, I'll just explain one because I don't want to bore you to death. But the attack is, you know, if you don't want it so that it's really pulling on the, like, say it's a kick or a snare or something, so that it's not pulling the front end of it, you're letting it go through a little bit. And then with the release, that is more to do with kind of, the more release you have, the more sort of color, the more of the sound of the unit comes through. So that's so you want it, you know, I quite like them quite fast, because it means that you know, it's coming in really fast and it's releasing, and it makes for snappy stuff. But it depends what you're actually using it for. If you're using it for classical or more acoustic stuff, it's nice to have a longer release on to get a bit more feel and a bit more of the sound of the unit in there. This unit is also cool because even if you have these switched out, you can turn these up, so what it turns into is sort of a multi-band EQ as well. So I can then go, okay, I want a bit more mids in there, or so you can kind of change the balance of the track a little bit. That's about it really. I mean, there is another feature on here which you can link up the different sections. So this will be the lower band and the mid band, and then this will control both of them. That's quite handy. I don't use it that often, but it's good, and you can link up all of them. So this one just controls the whole unit and turns it into a stereo compressor. That's about it. I hope that helps. It's quite a useful unit. I mean, like I say, I use it a lot for the low end, just to tighten things up, and also for sort of de-essing and getting some of that splashy essy stuff out of sounds.
Well, there you have it. That's the multi-band compressor. I hope it was helpful. Please subscribe to me somewhere, wherever that is, and leave any comments below and I'll answer your questions. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.